Hey friends, I am excited here today. I am joined with Brian McGuinness, and Brian leads our fulfillment and warehouse operations. And I want to talk first of all a little bit about our blank bottle program, and then Brian is going to show you how easy it is to apply labels, and he'll make it look easier than it really is. But for those of you who don't know, we have a blank bottle program here at Joy Organics, and that's where you can just buy our products with no label. The advantage of that is that you could buy, one of the 1 ounce salves, one of the 2 ounce salves, 3 of the 500 milligram mint tinctures, whatever you want. There's no minimum number of SKUs that you need to buy, no minimum number of units per SKU that you need to buy. It's a $1,000 minimum. Obviously, one of the reasons why people like to buy our blank bottles is because they can save on setup fees. Now, the downside of buying blank bottles is that you have to design your own labels and you have to apply them. But hopefully with this video, we'll remove one of those cons, and that is applying them. And Brian is a master of applying labels. So Brian, why don't you go ahead and show us what you do and how you do it.
So if you look carefully, most of the people on our team will look for this lane in the bottle. It's probably hard to see on the camera, and they will use that lane as a guide.
And the lane is the smooth part of the bottle that goes all the way across before it bends on either side.
Yeah, there's a little line where the bottle was fused together.
Okay.
Can you see that? It's difficult to see, and people will line it up that way, but I would lay it down instead and just eyeball it. So try to get the same gap at the bottom and at the top, and apply the label.
And one of the things that we take great pride at here with Joy Organics, with all of our labels and all of our private labels, is making sure the labels align. And for all of our small runs that are 24 units minimum of our private label program, it's just easier to hand apply them than it is to go ahead and machine apply them.
Yes,
this is an example of a soft gel, so go ahead and do a tincture. Same concept, you look for the lane.
The line on it, you can use it.
Oh, it's a line, not a lane. He's from Ireland.
Yes, there's a lane on the bottle.
Okay.
They're difficult to see, and people will use that lane as a guide. But I find it quicker and more consistent to lay them down and do it this way. So you'll just try to judge the gap at the bottom and at the top. And that one probably won't work.
And if you don't get it right, and you're not happy with the way the label lines up, you just do it again and get it to the point where you're happy. And you can see right there a beautiful label applied. And one of the advantages of this as well is if you're not quite sure about your label design, you could apply these as you sell them. For us here at Joy Organics, we have changed our labels many a times, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Every week it seems.
Yeah, and it is. We're continuing to make refinements, and for those of you who are our private label partners, every time you place an order, we're making refinements to your labels. We're not charging you for that because, we're learning a lot. We're learning about how to make them more visible. I mean, you can't see this here, but very readable, clean. And we're continuing to change as far as even where we put emphasis on labels, and what we do at Joy Organics, we carry it over into our private label partners as well. So, all right, these are a little harder, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Show us how to do the salves.
And it's just the same concept, but just because of the shape of the bottle, it does make it a little more difficult. So just try to eye and make the gap the same as on the bottom and on the top. And before sealing the label, make sure it's going to line up. This one's not going to line up. So if you see,
and he's a perfectionist, so a lot of people would be happy with these labels, but these guys are perfectionists in the.
Yeah, and if you close this, you're going to have to pick it back up, and it's going to destroy your label. So you'll have to redo it again and try to make sure you get it to line up exactly. That is more difficult.
And the reason these are more difficult, the salves, is because the labels are longer.
It is, yeah. And this one will.
Yep, and see there, you can see the seam there is just absolutely beautiful. And this is a 2 ounce salve. And is the 1 ounce salve a little easier?
Not really. The salves are the most difficult to label. And then obviously our dog cheese but you just do the same thing. Try to get the gap at the bottom and at the top the same, or it's the label will either be too low or too high, and it will not look good on the bottle. See, these ones are really difficult to line up.
And once somebody starts getting dialed in on doing a salve label, they just kind of get on a roll, right?
Yeah, this one's a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely off, you can see, but I mean, that's better than any label you're going to look at in Whole Foods, because hand applying these is actually more accurate than even machine applying them.
Yes, it is.
So anyhow, this is how you apply labels. Any final tips you want to share?
Just be careful with them and just make sure you put them on properly. Since we started doing this, you tend to notice labels on other product and they look horrible. So just make them look as nice as possible, and your customers will be happy.
Good. Now I got to ask you one question. Your last name, you're from Ireland, is Guinness, McGuinness. Mm-hmm. Is that named after the beer?
I wish it was. I wouldn't be working for you. It's spelled the same. Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned how easy it is to apply labels to tinctures and soft gels, and how much more difficult it is to apply them to salves. But obviously it's a craft that you can learn, and we even have our people in customer service. When they're not on the phones, they're applying labels, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes,
Yeah,
they are. It always takes people like a week to get good at it, so you just kind of keep practicing and practicing.
All right, awesome. All right, well, thanks for watching.